The sky has always been the final frontier of warfare, a place where men defy gravity and death in the same breath. Across decades, 8 aerial battles left scorch marks in the clouds and echoes in history. Each was more than a dogfight, it was a turning point, a story of courage, sacrifice, and fate riding on wings. The roar of Spitfires split the dawn skies. Britain was under siege. The Luftwaffe poured in from France like a flood of iron crows. Squadron leader James "Red" Halley climbed into his cockpit, shaking but resolute. He spotted a formation of Henkel bombers headed straight for London. With flak booming below and tracer rounds zipping past, he dove in. His guns spat fire, tearing into one bomber's engine. It spiraled down, smoke trailing. But the sky wasn't done. A Bf-109 screamed from above, chasing Halley. He juked, barrel rolled, and countered in a stall turn that brought him behind the German. One shot, one explosion. The tide turned that day, not because Britain had better planes, but because of pilots like Halley who flew with defiance. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, mastermind of Pearl Harbor, was flying over Bougainville, unaware that 18 American P-38 Lightnings were hunting him. Captain Thomas Lanfear, flying the lead Lightning, spotted the Betty bomber flanked by Zeros. Orders were clear: kill Yamamoto. The Americans dove from the sun, screaming down like wrath itself. Lanfear fired a perfect burst. Yamamoto's plane ignited and crashed into the jungle. The mission lasted mere minutes but changed the course of the Pacific War. Japan's brilliant strategist was gone, and the morale boost for the Allies soared higher than the clouds they flew through. Cold War, hot skies. Over North Korea's MiG Alley, F-86 Sabres faced MiG-15s in lightning duels. Captain Joseph McConnell, a former B-24 navigator, now ruled the air with reflexes like a hawk. On one sortie, he spotted 4 MiGs diving from the Yalu River. Outnumbered, he called to his wingman, but the response was static. Alone. He dodged the first volley, corkscrewed behind one MiG, and blew it from the sky. 2 more circled like sharks. McConnell pushed the Sabre to its edge, weaving through bullets. His .50 calibers barked again, another MiG down. By the end of the war, he was the top American ace. His courage and split-second decisions had turned MiG Alley into a graveyard for Red pilots. Dawn broke over the Sinai. Israel's Operation Focus had begun. In one of the boldest preemptive strikes in aviation history, over 180 Israeli Mirage and Nether jets took off in total radio silence. Captain Eitan Cohen led a squadron toward Egyptian bases. The airfield was full of MiGs, parked, unaware. Cohen nosed down and released his bombs. Fire engulfed the runway. Anti-aircraft fire erupted as the Egyptians scrambled. Cohen dodged a SAM by diving dangerously low, clipping a power line. Another MiG lifted off. He shot it before it retracted its wheels. By noon, over 300 Arab planes were destroyed on the ground and in the air. Israel had secured air superiority in hours, not days. This time, Israel was caught off guard. Syrian MiGs and Egyptian MiG-21s flooded the skies. Major David Levi scrambled his Phantom F-4 from an improvised desert runway. Radar blared, 3 bandits inbound. He climbed, twisting through flak and heat-seeking missiles. A Syrian MiG lined him up. Levi ejected flares and dove, just as his wingman arrived and shot the attacker. The chase turned into a chaotic dogfight. Levi downed 2 more with sidewinders. Low on fuel, he returned, smoke trailing from his tail. The war had just begun, but this battle proved one thing. Even surprised, Israeli pilots could fight with unmatched ferocity. Over the Iraqi desert, Captain Rick "Ghost" James flew an F-15 Eagle during Operation Desert Storm. Their mission: eliminate Iraqi MiGs before they could retaliate against coalition forces. AWACS pinged 2 approaching MiG-29s. Ghost accelerated, missiles primed. One MiG launched a heat seeker. He banked hard, launched chaff, and let his wingman finish that one. He locked onto the second, one squeeze of the trigger, and an AIM-7 Sparrow roared. The MiG exploded mid-air. What stunned observers was how quickly U.S. pilots gained total air dominance. That night, Baghdad lit up with anti-air fire, but none could touch the Eagles circling above. High in the Himalayas, India and Pakistan clashed in the thin air of Kargil. Indian Mirage 2000s took on entrenched Pakistani positions. Flight Lieutenant Ajay Rawat flew at impossible altitudes to deliver precision laser-guided bombs. Clouds obscured targets, and Pakistani F-16s threatened from above. During one tense mission, he was locked by enemy radar. Instead of retreating, he climbed higher, above the clouds, and dove straight through them. Laser lock achieved. He released the bomb. Seconds later, the bunker vanished in smoke. Pakistani radar lost him in the descent. He returned, hailed a hero. That strike changed the course of the mountain war. In a future not far from now, drones rule the skies. Over the Black Sea, U.S. Reaper drones faced Russian Okhotsk stealth UAVs. Cyberpilot Lieutenant Sarah Tran sat thousands of miles away in Nevada, commanding her drone through encrypted uplink. She detected enemy jamming, a trap. The Russian drone emerged from stealth, launching a micromissile. With milliseconds to react, she performed a digital evasive maneuver, manually overriding the AI. She countered with her own weapon, a hypersonic projectile. It struck true. The Russian drone disintegrated. Sarah saved a NATO fleet from attack without ever leaving her chair. A new age of warfare was here, just as lethal, but colder and quieter. From propellers to plasma thrusters, from screaming dogfights to silent drone duels, each battle echoed a truth: the air belongs to those bold enough to master it. And now, in a classified hangar in Nevada, a new prototype, codename Skyfire, readies for its first mission. Piloted by a hybrid AI-human interface, it is the next step in this war-torn lineage. Aboard sits the granddaughter of James "Red" Halley. As she takes off into the twilight, the ghost of every battle echoes in her headset. Skyfire 1, cleared for takeoff. Let history remember what comes next.